I thought we kept our composure. When you get a hot start the way we had, the other team is going to make a run, and they did. And we kept our composure, and then I thought even late, we had some mistakes, execution, just being connected, and, handling a few things that they were doing. And then we got our composure again, and, Sadiq hit a huge shot, Trey made a big bucket, and we were able to get stops without fouling, which I thought was big.
Got time to play around with you. I mean, that's what he does on defense, and I got a job to do on both ends, so it's a little bit different in our roles.
And just the growth of this team.
Welcome in, Hawks fans. Your boy Bryce Lewis back again for another episode of Bleav in the Hawks. Hawks coming off their second straight victory tonight over the Houston Rockets, 134-127 in a game of runs tonight. Both teams took each other's best shot. You saw elite three-point shooting. You saw guys all over the court getting hot. You saw some defensive intensity at times, and also some defensive lapses. You just saw all types of things tonight, but at the end of the night, the Hawks were able to get the win, get themselves through about now under 3 games under 500. As like I said, they continue to fight to get back to 500 right now. In a very impressive win over a Houston team that was 11-1 at home. I Bleav they won 11 straight games going into this game at home. And they're also the third, I think, rated defensive team in the league. And tonight, the Hawks dropped 134 on Ime's defensive team. So that kind of shows you tonight the Hawks can score on anybody. And they were able to do that and able to get a good win tonight over the team. We're going to break it all down for this episode of Bleav in Hawks. Obviously, guys, like I always say, guys listening to me right now, follow me on Twitter, Bryce_2K, for all my Hawks takes and updates and everything under the sun. Interact with me on there. Talk to me a little bit. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. Please hit the subscribe button for more Bleav in Hawks episodes here. We're going to be here all season long and through the off season. So don't forget to subscribe and like this current video. And also don't be afraid to go back and watch other videos too as well. And then obviously, if you're listening to me through audio, don't forget to leave a rating or a review on the pod as well. But yeah, guys, so Hawks get a good win tonight. A win that some people worry about. I mean, this is, we haven't, I guess, beaten a good team in a minute, quote unquote. Our 2 wins came against the worst team in the league, and then the Raptors, who are looking like they're about to blow it up. So people maybe are like, okay, we haven't beaten a good team in a while. Well, Houston is a good team. Now, they've gone through a bit of a stretch. I think this is their 3rd straight loss now. They've also led up 130 now in 3 consecutive games, so they're not playing their best basketball. But again, kind of shows you every team goes through those patches in the season where they just don't play good ball. And Houston right now is going through that right now, but that's good for the Hawks because they were able to come in, still a tough game tonight, to come in here tonight and play against them and beat them on their home court. A place, like I said, a home court where they are won 11 straight games, and they were 11-1 at home this season on their home floor. So they usually protect their house, and the Hawks actually have been a better road team this year. I think they're now at 500 on the road this year now with this win over the Houston Rockets. They've been better on the road than at home, which usually is always interesting maybe for teams that are younger to be a better home team usually than they are road team, but the Hawks are the opposite of that. And that honestly paid off for them tonight, getting that win. So let's go ahead and break it down for you. I mean, getting into this game, the first half, Hawks in that first quarter shot 8 of 16 from 3. They were hot in the game. And I made a stat on my Twitter. I talked about the Hawks. The Hawks are, I think, 8th now in 3-point shooting percentage this year. The Hawks were 20th in 2022. That was a weakness for this team last year, the 3-point shot. Everybody said this team has a bunch of mid-range shooters. They don't have 3-point shooters outside of Bogey, and then when they traded for Bay later in the season. This year, they're now a top 10 3-point shooting team, and that reflects. Hunter has been shooting the 3-ball better than he has in his career so far in these last couple of games. Trae Young, during this entire stretch that he's had, which we'll break down more, that he's had, is shooting the 3-ball really, really well. DeJounte is shooting the 3-ball well. Bogey has been shooting the 3-ball. He has been just a flamethrower from 3 these last few games that he's played in as well. Obviously, Bay has actually been the one guy whose shot hasn't been there from 3, but still gives you some production there. And then obviously, Garrison Matthews give you a couple of threes here and there. But overall, you're getting a lot of 3-point contributions. If you remember at the beginning of this season, the Hawks actually were struggling from 3. They were not making a lot of threes, so a lot of their offense is still coming from their 2-point game. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention Jalen Johnson's also shooting really well from 3 as well, but they weren't really making threes at the beginning of the year like that. And then if you notice during these last 4 or 5 games, especially, they have shot the 3 ball much better, and it's been a weapon for them. Where Quinn wants them to get up more threes, but you would see the Hawks take like 40 threes, but only make 12. Now they're making 18, 19 threes and only taking 35, 34. So that's a much better percentage, overall than what you were getting before. In the last 3 games, before, not counting this game, they were shooting 41% from the 3. So that shows you they have been a really strong 3-point shooting team in these last few games, and that's been a big weapon in the first half. That played a part in what they did, and you saw that. That helped them get out to that big lead early. Second quarter, still played well. Obviously, you weren't as hot, but you still were scoring the ball. You had a 12-point lead at half. And then the third quarter was just a complete dominated Houston quarter. Houston came out, stopped the Hawks, stifled the Hawks defensively. Trae Young got his 4th foul. He was in foul trouble this game. So he had to come out the game. And obviously the offense is different when Trae Young's on the floor because of his ball creativity, especially the way I think that Quinn wants to play. Trae Young is perfect for this offense. That, especially because of his ability, his court vision, able to find his teammates, spread the ball around. That is not DeJounte's strength in that realm. So the offense looks different under DeJounte. It's maybe more slower pace, ISO, methodical offense. And so, not always the best, but Houston was basically able to stop the Hawks in that third quarter, make their run. They came back to even take the lead. And I believe they led going into the fourth quarter as well by about 2 points. So it looked like, the Hawks blew a lead. Oh God, here we go. This is happening again. They're gonna run away with this game, right? Hawks came back at the start of the fourth quarter. Onyeka Okongwu, he is back to feeding families. Onyeka Okongwu taking over the fourth quarter. Man was all over the place. Had like 4 alley-oops, man. He just kept getting behind Houston's defense for easy alley-oops at the rim. Especially the one, I think he missed one in the third quarter, I believe, that I think it's almost like he was making up for that in the fourth quarter with a few of those. Blocking shots, rebounding, great. I mean, he even made a pass to the corner to Bogey for 3. He was doing everything in the fourth quarter. He played his best fourth quarter, and I believe he played the entire fourth quarter. He closed the game for the Hawks because of the way he was playing. And so Okongwu, this is the Onyeka Okongwu that I think people have been wanting to see from him. This is the guy that the Hawks paid that money to before the season started. And tonight he came out and proved to be that guy. If he plays like this, I think this is what we want to see. Now, I will also say this. I think Onyeka Okongwu is better in certain matchups, and I think that tonight was a matchup that worked in his favor. Outside of Sengun, Houston really doesn't have, Jabari, but in terms of true bigs, they don't have a lot of true bigs that play in this game. So, like I said, outside of Sengun, Okongwu's going against guys who are around his height, around his size. So now he can now enforce his will into the game more. He's not playing trees. He's playing guys around his height. That and the Houston Rockets are playing a style that I think is adaptive to his defensive technique that helps him just be able to be more effective against them offensively and defensively. So I think that also helped, and that's why you didn't see Capella. Now, Capella didn't play bad when he was in the game at all. I just think Okongwu gave you more, obviously, with his ability to shoot. That also helped open up spacing, get more spacing for everybody on the court. And like I said, the Hawks were able to make some plays off of that and get a good solid solid stretch of 4 or 5 minutes of play from Onyeka. That really was a big part of the fourth, and that gave them another lead. But like I said, this was a game of runs. Rockets, again, come back, get within like 3-4 points of this team of taking the lead. Hawks need some big baskets. Trae Young able to make some baskets late, especially 2 in a row to seal the deal for this team. Hawks get a couple of stops. You win the game 134-127. So, like I said, a game of just runs on both ends. This game was kind of a microcosm of this Hawks season. You've seen the things they do really, really well. And then you see the things that kind of make you rip your hair out. And you kind of saw them both in this game, but at the same time, they always say the NBA is a game of runs. So, you saw two teams kind of just taking each other's punch back and forth. And eventually the Hawks were able to hang on and get, like I said, get an impressive win on the road. So, that works. But let's talk about Trae Young. Trae Young tonight continues to play his best stretch of basketball that he's played in his career, to me. Another 30-10 game. 3-point shooting still great. Let's go through the stat line of Trae. Trae Young, 30 points tonight, 36 minutes, 14 assists, 10 of 18 from the field, shot over 50% from the field, 5 of 8 from 3. Plus minus was 11, which actually wasn't the highest out of the starters. Bay had the highest out of the starters. But, I mean, that stat line is great. I mean, he missed a couple free throws tonight, but outside of that, I mean, he pretty much did what was needed of him tonight. He just goes out there and he knows that during this stretch, especially with Jalen Johnson hurt, he needs to do this. This is a situation where Trae needs to be 30-10. And the one thing that he's done a great job of in his entire career is he's mastered, when do I get my teammates involved, create easy shots for my teammates, but then when to be aggressive and also score the ball. Now, here's something that Bally Sports tweeted out. There's only been 5 players in NBA history that have 30 plus points, 10 assists games in 5 consecutive games. Oscar Robinson, he's done it twice. Russell Westbrook, Michael Jordan, Nate Archibald, and Trae Young. That's the list. That's some great company to be a part of if you're Trae Young. Again, making history with this run that he's been going on. Like I said, all-star voting is open, so don't be afraid to go ahead and vote for Trae Young. Also, he's just been, a guy who, listen, the biggest thing with him that we've criticized was some of his shot selection, and then also the turnovers. Last couple of games, turnovers have been a bit of an issue. But overall, like I said, he's giving you a 30-point, 10 assist game every game, it feels like. He had 4 turnovers tonight. Still want to cut that down, but overall, I think, he's been playing really, really good ball recently. And I think we got to give him his flowers and just keep talking about it, because we are witnessing history. We are witnessing just that superstar play that we want to see. Like, I mean, I just remember the beginning of the year, everybody was like, Trae may not be a superstar. Trae may not be him. Trae this. And I said, listen, guys, Trae has to make the biggest adjustment out of anybody on this team, because they're trying to play a new system that is going to change the way he plays the game, but actually will benefit him once he gets used to it and he gets adjusted. It was impressive. We were 500 with Trae Young playing some of his worst basketball. Now Trae Young's playing some of his best basketball. But obviously when he was playing some of his worst basketball, we were healthy. We are not healthy right now. Now, I don't know if you guys saw the injury updates from the Hawks. Jalen Johnson is back to full court practices, so I expect him back soon, hopefully next week maybe. We haven't got an official date, but maybe in the next week or so, Jalen Johnson will hit the court again. It's good to see him back in full capacity at practice. Kobe Buffkin also is back in full capacity at practice, full practices, so maybe we'll see some Kobe Buffkin. I don't know if they're going to play him. I know that with the injuries, Quinn has been trying to kind of figure out that back end of the rotation, but it's just good to have him back on the court. Obviously for him being a rookie, he's lost some time this year. He's lost a quarter of the season. So just, help him grow, help him continue to develop from that perspective. And then Muhammad Gay, he'll be reevaluated, I believe they said, in 4 weeks. So he's still recovering from him. He definitely probably won't be back till probably I'm predicting around All-Star break. To me, that's what it sounds like to me. February, March would be maybe when he gets back. So it sucks that he's losing a big chunk of his rookie year with this injury, but obviously wish him the speediest of recoveries in that regard as well. But, with all the injuries that have happened, Trae Young, man, he has really stepped up and he's really played really, really well for this team and done what they needed him to do so they could be in this position right now. Like I said, you're kind of facing an uphill climb right now. You went through that losing stretch. Hopefully this can start another streak. Like I've talked about, Hawks need to start another winning streak going. You've won 2 in a row and everything. You got Miami coming up, which I'll talk about more later in the show. But, Trae Young, man, just been great for us. Been great for us overall tonight. And so on and so forth. But we got to talk about everybody else too. DeJounte Murray at 21 played really well in the first half. Again, second half kind of trailed off a bit. I mean, DeJounte's played. It's funny because it's like DeJounte's been okay. Like he's just been okay. He has been great for us, but he's been okay. He's done what he needed to do. And he has his moments. So, we'll continue to work with that. Bay really didn't have a great night tonight shooting, but he hit a big 3 late in that fourth quarter that really kind of, I felt like, really gave the Hawks that cushion that was needed to kind of get a handle on the game. Big 3 late from him. DeAndre Hunter only had 11 tonight. Clint Capella only had 15 and 9, 21 minutes. Bench was huge tonight from 2 guys, Yeko Kongu, Bogey. Yeko Kongu, we talked about it. Dominated in that fourth quarter for the night. He had 19 points, 11 rebounds on just doing them all over the place. And then Bogdanovich continues his run of 20-point games. Bogey is giving you 20 off the bench every night now. I Bleav that this is the most in the league. He leads the league in 20-point games off the bench with this play, with 4 rebounds and 5 assists. That's something that I'm really glad that Quinn Snyder and the coaching staff is really tried to get out of Bogdanovich. They want him to, yes, you're a great shooter. We know you can score the ball, but we want you to be able to play make more, which, like I said, he had a few assists tonight. We want you to be able to do different things with the ball and be dangerous in different ways than just a shooter. Like I said, Bogey has that green light. Like you can tell that man has that green light from the coaching staff to rip off shots. And you see it when he takes shots with confidence all of the time, man. He's taken he's taken a bunch of threes a game. Like tonight he took 8. He's usually averaging between 8 and 12 threes a game, it feels like. Because he has the green light to take those shots. Because he's been making those shots. That's why he's having 20-point games. I mean, if your 6th man is playing like that, giving you 20, I mean, you get 30 from Trae, you get 20 from Bogey on a nightly basis. You're getting 50 just from those 2. That if DJ gives you 20 or close to 20, that's 70 just between those 3 players. So now if you're a team like the Hawks who scores like 120 a game, you got 50 points amongst everybody else, and you still, let's say you run a 8-man rotation, 5 players, 50 points. So you get a big night from someone like a Kongu who gave you 19 tonight. That's about what? Now you're getting 90 points between 4 players. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where that type of production is key. And that's why it'll be interesting how this team looks when Jalen comes back. Just because he's a guy who can give you 20, but also play defense. So, Bogey plays this way. Trae plays this way. Jalen comes back. I mean, it feels like that would set the Hawks up potentially to make a run maybe here. If they continue to play, that's the key. They have to continue to play that way. Which would be big if they could get that type of production from those guys, and then Jalen. And then also, with Jalen with the wrist injury, we don't know how they're going to integrate him, if they're just going to all right, you're back, full go, no restriction, or we want to put you 20, 25 minutes. Because, sometimes you don't play for a little bit. You got to get your win back. So I could see them maybe doing a minute restriction with Jalen, maybe limiting him to 20, 25 minutes a game. So that's definitely possible. I think Quinn is comfortable with Bay if he has to go there. But it's just something to look into whenever he does get back, which I think will be soon. So, like I said, good win tonight overall from this team against the Houston Rockets. They shot 52% from the field, 43% from three. And one more tidbit is, obviously Quinn wanted this team to take more threes and shoot more threes. And, in wanting that and doing that, sometimes the key is that you got to have guys who can shoot the three. You can want people to shoot threes, but if you ain't got a great 3-point shooting team, what's the point? For the Hawks, I really feel like this coaching staff has really developed a lot of players' shots on this team. Like Hunter, we've seen videos when guys, from who are in Hawks practices, who have access to Hawks practices, sometimes, post those videos online of guys putting up shots. There was a video of Hunter putting up shots, but they were saying that they were trying to teach him a new way of trying to get shots up. And I wonder if that has been one of the reasons why guys like him have improved his 3-point shot recently and why he's shooting better from three. Now, tonight he didn't shoot that great from three, but last few games he was shooting pretty well. Because realistically, you have, like I said, you primarily have the same roster from last year with a couple of different people, Bay and Bogey, but you're getting great 3-point shooting from Trey, and you're getting really good 3-point shooting from Murray. And then, like I said, Hunter is contributing. And then, when a Kongu, you makes a couple, and, Garrison Matthews, that's basically what his job is just come in, play some defense, and shoot some threes. You're shooting 43%. That just shows you that you're becoming a dangerous team, because the Hawks were scoring a lot of points a game, just really with a lot of twos and free throw attempts. But now they're able to kill you free throws, threes, and then if they get to the paint that way. Which, like I said, was big. So I think all of those things have really helped the Hawks really take that next step offensively. Like I said, didn't have their best free throw shooting night tonight. Missed 5 tonight. 3 more even would have helped in this position, but it happens, has those nights. They only had 9 turnovers tonight, so they really didn't turn the ball over that much. 31 assists. They won the rebounding battle 44-37, 12 offensive rebounds in this game over the Rockets. But overall, really, really solid win for them in this game. Like I said, some people, I think, chalk this up as a Houston win. Houston was favored in this game, too, before the game. And so the Hawks really need to come out and start fast like they did. Remember, the Hawks were starting slow a lot at the beginning of the season, if you remember. But now they're starting faster. They're starting quicker. They're not playing as bad to start games. Cleveland was a bad start, but for the most part, during these wins, they've played and started these games off pretty well, which has been big for them. Biggest thing for them is just situationally, defensively, just being able to get stops when you make those runs and you get your shot up. Because sometimes the Hawks will score, but they ain't getting stops. So it's like eventually you're going to cool down or going to cool off, but you're not able to get stops, and then that's what kind of cost you games. When they made those runs, they were able to get stops on Houston. Houston tonight, for the most part, you really only had 3 guys who beat you tonight. Dylan Brooks, when he was on the floor, he went crazy from 3. Jabari Smith had a career night tonight, season highs tonight, and then Fred VanVleet. That was really the only people. Jalen Green made a couple of plays, but he really wasn't a crazy factor in this game. But if you look at it, this team of Houston, it was just really a 3-man show. If you look at the final stat line, you did get 14 from Singwin. You did get 16 from Green. But like I said, Dylan Brooks got high from 3. But like I said, it was mainly VanVleet, who I think VanVleet played the entire second half outside of the start of the fourth quarter. And then Jabari basically almost played the entire second half as well, I think. Aaron Holiday, man. Hawks legend. 26 minutes tonight, man. Obviously, they have some injuries tonight. The Houston has injuries, but Hawks have injuries too, so there's no excuses there. But, that's really who beat you tonight. And if you were able to slow them down in key situations, Rockets really weren't getting that much production than anybody else. So, we were to get out of the game, and the Hawks were able to get a good win. So that's definitely good, and really happy that we were able to come out with a victory tonight against the Rockets. And like I said, try to get a streak going. But Hawks got to travel again against their arch nemesis, against a team that has been a thorn in the side of this team, the Miami Heat. They are playing the Heat Friday in a game that is pretty important for them. I mean, if you're the Hawks, like I said, you really want to kind of get a run started right now, but you got to get through them. Heat were able to get a good win over Orlando Magic tonight. No Jimmy Butler in that game. We'll see if he'll be back for our game, but they got a good win tonight over the Magic. And now the Hawks have to get ready to play him. Coming up in Miami. We'll have to see how that goes. Heat have been pretty average at home, 7-6 so far. They're 6-4 in their last 10. You know, and with the Heat, I mean, it's every game. You know, it's always a coaching matchup. I mean, you know, Hawks may do something good early. Heat adjust. Hawks have to adjust again. It's kind of like tonight with against Ime. They adjust it, we adjust it, they adjust it, then we adjust it again. You know, those Hawks games against the Heat are always going to be frustrating from a referee perspective. You're going to see a lot of flopping. You're going to see some calls. Heat are going to play aggressive. We'll see how the referees call that game. So I know that may be a point of contention on Twitter and just across all Hawks social media platforms. Just talking about the way the game is called. You know, if you win that game, that puts you in a really good place. Then you have a back-to-back on Saturday against the Memphis Grizzlies. But this is the Memphis Grizzlies with Ja Morant. So that game is no longer a easy win, quote-unquote, for this team. You know, Ja Morant, we just saw him on TNT the other night against the Pelicans, hit a game winner. So obviously, this Memphis team is reinvigorated with Ja Morant back in the lineup. So that's not going to be an easy game for this team either. So the Hawks, if they're gonna do something, man, they're gonna have to play some really good basketball to really get themselves where they want to be. And it's not going to be easy, but I think this team is very much capable of getting the job done, you know, as they try to get healthy. But we also know there's going to be challenges there that come from that as well. So it's going to be interesting, I think, to see what happens here with this team. And, you know, like I said, good win tonight over the Houston Rockets. Just got to continue to build on this and continue to play well, and hopefully you continue to get those great performances from guys like Trae Young. You get another great performance from Bogey, and, you know, we'll just have to see how things go. So I'll be back after the Heat game Friday, I believe. I should be able to get you another guys into the Bleav Hawks podcast recap episode of that game, and then preview Memphis going into that game, and hopefully we're talking about another Hawks win next time you see me. So that would be a big win if they can get one over the Miami Heat. But I think that's all I got for you guys today. Obviously, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Bryce_2K. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube. Don't forget to leave a rating or review if you're listening to audio podcasts, as you can listen to anywhere you want. If you guys can't watch the video version of this, find me on whatever platform you like to watch podcasts on. You can listen to me there. So appreciate you guys tuning into the Bleav Hawks podcast for the Bleav Network. I'm your boy, Bryce Lewis. See you next time.